The quietest individuals often have the loudest breaking moments, according to psychologists. The strange thing is that people who seem to be the Sigma male, a guy who loves loyalty above all else yet knows precisely when to walk away, is one of these mysterious types. The most patient and serene people are often the ones you should be afraid of pushing too far. There is a limit to everyone's patience, including their own, but Sigma males are more than just introverts or lone wolves. They are strategic thinkers and fiercely loyal people who demand respect not just with words, but with deeds. They thrive in their independence but are fiercely loyal to those who treat them with dignity. The question is, what happens when you cross that line? A Sigma male won't lose his temper or argue incessantly. Instead, he will respond in a way that is far more subdued and devastating. Rather than announcing his displeasure or giving dramatic ultimatums, he will subtly but decisively alter the course of events in ways that will leave you reeling. And science supports this. This isn't just personal, it's psychological warfare. According to studies on emotional intelligence, people who internalize their feelings, like the Sigma male, process betrayal and disrespect differently. They don't explode, instead they evolve. So let me ask you, have you ever felt the quiet shift when someone decides they're done? That's the Sigma male at his breaking point, and trust me, that's not something you want to experience. This is more than just a personality trait. It's a survival strategy, a means of preserving his peace and regaining his power. When pushed too far, a Sigma male's reaction isn't noisy or untidy. It's exact, definitive, and if you believe he will return after being mistreated, you're in for a rough time. Let's examine the profound and irrevocable actions a faithful Sigma male takes when he is pushed too far. The first is the silent retreat, which occurs when words lose their meaning and a Sigma male is pushed too far. His initial reaction is not to defend or defend himself, but to withdraw into silence. This is a deliberate decision made by a person, not just a coping strategy. Words lose their meaning when they are ignored or treated disrespectfully. The retreat isn't about weakness. Rather, it's about saving energy. Sigma recognizes that making pointless debates just depletes their mental energy, which they would rather to use for something constructive, like refocusing on their objectives or adjusting their limits. Comparable to a chess game, as the board becomes chaotic, the Sigma takes a step back to evaluate the whole situation, taking into account every move that may be made. For the Sigma, this silence is a necessary pause, but it often unnerves people because it seems like rejection. It's a time for him to regain emotional control and decide if the relationship or circumstance is worth preserving. This retreat is frequently the first warning sign, but many people overlook it because they think his silence is pity, not understanding that it's actually the calm before the storm. Once he enters this phase, it won't be long before he takes a decisive action. The second reason is that emotional relationships are being severed. A Sigma guy has a strong sense of loyalty. He doesn't make friends easy, but when he does, he gives it his all. For this reason, betrayal, contempt, or constant pressure. When you push him too far, his second reaction is even more terrifying. He starts to emotionally distance himself. This isn't done out of spite, rather it's a survival tactic. Unlike others who might cling to toxic relationships out of fear or dependency, the Sigma isn't afraid to leave, even from people he once cared for deeply. The process is silent but devastating. One day, you'll notice his absence. His messages will cease, his calls will go unanswered, and his presence will seem like a faraway memory since he doesn't make an announcement about his leaving or look for confirmation of his choice. Philosophically, this phase reflects Stoic ideas. This detachment is his method of maintaining his tranquility. According to Marcus Aurelius, you have control over your thoughts. Recognize this, and you'll discover the strength to be a Sigma. Reason 3. The cold strategy. When rationality takes over and emotional links are broken, the Sigma enters a period of cold, calculated strategy, which is where he becomes genuinely unpredictable. Disconnecting is an act of regaining his inner power, and once he does, there's no going back. A Sigma. The most potent weapon a man has is his intellect, which he employs with surgical precision when pushed too far. Rather than seeking retribution in the conventional sense, he concentrates on eliminating barriers, removing harmful influences, and creating a future free from those who have harmed him. This might include leaving a position that takes advantage of him, stepping away from a social circle that doesn't respect his ideals, or terminating a relationship that drains him. This phase's calm ruthlessness is what gives it such punch. While some would react angrily, the Sigma's activities are purposeful and extensive. He doesn't just move on. Instead, he flourishes, leaving others who have mistreated him to reflect on their decisions. This tactical reaction is about evolution rather than only survival. The Sigma makes sure that no one ever pushes him to that point again by focusing his energies on growing into a stronger, wiser version of himself rather than wasting time thinking about the past. The inner fortress's reinforcement of imposing borders. When a Sigma man is overextended, one of the most significant things that takes place is the strengthening of his boundaries. Although Sigmas are naturally independent, a breach of trust turns them into fortresses. This isn't about erecting walls to keep people out. Rather, it's about establishing gates that only the worthy can pass through. The Sigma learns from every betrayal, slight, and instance of disrespect, and he refines his understanding of what he will and won't tolerate. He then shifts his boundaries accordingly, which frequently surprises those around him. This firmness isn't aggressive. Rather, it's resolute. The Sigma simply enforces his boundaries philosophically without feeling the need to defend or explain them, which is consistent with the idea that self-respect should be the cornerstone of all relationships. As Epictetus once stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The Sigma regains his independence and makes sure that his allegiance is never again taken for granted. Reason 5. The ultimate metamorphosis into untouchability. Transformation is the last reaction of a Sigma guy who has been overextended. This isn't just about moving on, it's about rising above the Sigma and using the hurt, betrayal, and disappointment he's experienced as fuel for personal development. He becomes untouchable, not in the sense that he's impervious, but rather that his sense of self is so ingrained that nothing can disturb his tranquility. Those who previously doubted him are now in awe of his tenacity as a result of this transition, which is both inspirational and frightening. This stage is about self-mastery rather than seeking retribution or proving a point. The Sigma male emerges stronger, wiser, and more focused than ever. He looks forward with clarity rather than back with bitterness, setting an example for others that loyalty is a gift when it is respected, but becomes a force to be reckoned with when it is abused. When you push a loyal Sigma male too far, what you see is evolution rather than retaliation. His response is not rage but clarity rather than chaos but precision. He retreats, disconnects, reinforces his boundaries, and eventually becomes untouchable. Best of all, he accomplishes all of this without needing validation, confrontation, or applause. The strength of the Sigma man is found in his quiet strength and his constant dedication to maintaining his tranquility. Once his devotion is lost, it cannot be restored with hollow gestures or meaningless words. Instead, he pushes ahead rather than backward, taking the lessons learned with him and leaving the chaos behind. This serves as a reminder to those who value his presence that you should never mistake his patience for weakness or his loyalty for obligation. He gives freely, but when the balance is upset, he expects respect in return. If you've ever met a Sigma male, you'll know that his silence is louder than most people's cries, and his absence leaves a void that's difficult to fill. Respect him, and you'll gain a lifetime. Push him too far, and you'll lose him forever. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insights into the fascinating mindset of Sigma males. Tell us what you think about the silent power of the Sigma male in the comments section below. Thank you for viewing, and we hope to see you in the next film. Please share this with someone who needs to hear it.